I realized how it was the dumbest thing to do. It was such a big mistake. Picture this: Richmond, Virginia, 2012. Newlyweds. We're practically still newlyweds. We've been married for 2 years now, but newlyweds. We moved states. We need two new cars. Now, I have just come from paying off my credit card. If I got married, was when I took care of my credit card bill. But I have just come from, over 4 years of owing no one other than my student loan. 4 years, we've been living this life of we have no debt, we owe no one, and we are financially smarter. I'm financially savvier than I was. And so I am watching our income and our debts like a hawk because I'm like, we will not fall into this trap that so easily gets us young adults when we're starting off. You finally have a job, you're starting off as a young adult, you need a new car, and so you get a new car, and just like that, boom, 30,000, 40,000 in debt. And in this case, we need two cars, two new cars. I was like, we will not fall into this trap. So I was determined that we are going to be very careful of how much debt we get into, right? So of course, it's going to be used. No question about that. This is not 2022. That's a different story. We'll address it later. But it was going to be used. For me, since my job was just a few minutes away, I just needed something to get me from A to B. Then for my husband, who, will be driving a lot, he has a longer commute. We knew we needed to get him something a lot more reliable, a lot more stronger. So we got him a car that was only 2 years old. His car was about 20 something thousand. We put $5,000 down and walked away with 17,000, owing 17,000 on it, 17, 18,000 on it. My car, which was only 5 years old, cost me $10,000, which was what made it even more attractive for me because it was beautiful, it was clean, it was nice. Only $10,000? Sure, that's my whole credit card bill, right? To me, it was cheap. So we put down 2,000. I'm not even sure how we ended up still owing 12,000. That's a different story. At the end of the day, with both cars owing a total of 28,000. And you can imagine, I'm just hyperventilating at this point because I've just paid off 8,000. 8,000 felt like a lot of money that I just cleared out. And now we owe 28,000. We haven't even started. We owe 20. So I was like, no, we are getting rid of this debt ASAP. Well, the good thing is no kids. It was just hubby and I. We were both working. We don't have any mortgage. We don't have any daycare expenses. So really, and we don't live so extravagantly, right? So I knew we could tackle this and we can clear that right away. My mindset at the time was no debt, except my student loan. My student loan balance at the time was $50,000. So $50,000 to me at that time was huge. So it was like my mortgage. Like right now, when I say no debt, I mean everything but the mortgage, because the mortgage is going to take about 30 years to pay off. My student loan felt the same way. It was 15 years or 25 years payment plan. So it just felt like a lot of money. It would take time to clear that out. 27,000 or 28,000. We need to get this taken care of right away. And so after we got the car, the focus was let's build up emergency savings. Since our cost of living was very low, we were going out to eat pretty much every Saturday. But we weren't buying things. I made our lunch every day. We would eat breakfast at home, pack lunch for work, eat dinner at home. So our expenses altogether were just very low. So I calculated our cost of living for a year, added it up for 2 years, and started saving up for that. And it wasn't even like we had this massive budget plan or savings plan. It was just we are only going to pay for what we need, and everything else we're chucking away in savings. That was it. That was it. And that worked because my husband and I are both sensible spenders. Neither one of us had to worry about each other's spending habits. And once again, Amazon was not a thing. Not like I have issues, I really don't. But you know what I mean? It worked out that way. We didn't have to put a specific savings plan because we were good. We were both good at being mindful of our spending. And since we didn't have any other expenditures, we didn't have mortgage. The only thing we were paying was our utility bills, the car payment, and student loan, and that was it. It was so easy for us to save up our cost of living for 2 years. And the moment we hit that figure, that was it. lockdown savings, let's start attacking this car payments. We would send $2,000 every single month towards the car payment. We started off with my car, knocked that out of the way, and then started off with his. I think in about 2 years or so, I don't remember details because I wasn't exactly writing all this thing down and documenting for in the future when I open up a YouTube channel, so, but in about 2 years, max 3 years, both cars were paid off. And we were so proud of ourselves. I mean, so proud, like, yeah, we're doing this adult thing right. We're setting ourselves up right. And at the time, I think our first child was now coming in, or we were planning on having a first child. I can't remember details. But a few years ago, I realized how it was the dumbest thing to do. It was it was such a big mistake to pay those cars off. Paying off those cars seemed like the best idea at the time, but it was so financially wrong in so many ways. The cars, total balance 27,000 or 28,000. The interest rate on my car was 1.9%. And I remember this because it just blew my mind that was the interest rate. 1.9%. On my husband's car, the interest rate on that was 2.75%. But do you know what the rates were on my student loans? This was my undergrad and my grad. My undergrad loans were fixed at 3%. My grad school loans was a mix. Some were fixed, some weren't. And they were at 4%. 4%, I think. 4 or 5. 4 point something percent. So we paid off $27,000 that barely had any interest and held on to $50,000 that had a variable rate. Not all of it had a variable rate, yes, but even the one that was fixed had a higher interest rate than the car. But see, at the time, my mind, 50,000 just felt like a forever loan. A forever, like this will take a long time. Okay. We've just accepted we were duped because, yes, I'll talk about student loans another time because we were duped. I've made peace with it. I said, okay, we will pay it off. Every month, our monthly payment for the student loan was about 400 and something, right? How we thought it was sensible to pay off the cars, but hold on to a loan that had higher balance, higher rates. But that's the thing with personal finance, right? The thing with personal finance is it's not taught in school, right? So it's self-taught. And you work with what what you think is the best move until you know better. And like Oprah says, you know better, you do better, right? Okay, so at the time, our mindset was just it would take us forever to pay off 50,000, but 27,000, oh, we can knock that off real quick. But now looking back, okay, it may take a lot longer to pay off 50,000, but in the long run, it will save us a lot more money. It would be okay to hold on to 27,000 at pretty much zero interest rate. And that interest rate was fixed. As you keep educating yourself with finances, you start doing better. There's no shame in acknowledging or accepting or admitting that your previous plan was wrong. Just pivot, right? We're learning as we go. Just pivot. If we were to do it all over again, oh, heck no, I would not be paying off the card. I would hold off. I used to be team pay off the mortgage ASAP. But now the interest rates are this high and our mortgage then was only 3%. I'm thinking, well, maybe that money can go into something else. It's part of the journey. As we live, as we grow, we learn better and we change accordingly, right? So I'm probably losing my train of thought because I need to go. There's thunderstorm coming in and I need to shut things down, go be with the kids. So I'm just going to stop this here. And unfortunately, I don't have time to re-record. It is what it is. Message of the story is financial mistakes have been made, even by those of us or by me who thinks I have it down. And the lesson is act with the information you have now. And as you keep going, keep educating yourself. And when you get new information, we change the plan. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. To stay alive, I gotta go. We gotta bad weather. I have to go. All right. Thank you. See you in the next video. Bye.